And let's just give it a minute to see if anyone else logs in so that we can all start at the same time. Okay, so let's start. To log in, most of you know the URL. You could try it without the S, just because sometimes you might get an error message. So it's http://dcps.duvalschools.org/admin. Your username should be the same one that you use to log into your settings or to Outlook, and the same thing goes for the password. Notice how you can get this sometimes if, again, the URL is wrong. So let me try it one more time here. Okay, and I'm logged in. Once you're logged in, you can go ahead and click on Site Manager. And I'm going to click on Site Manager. But before I do that, today I'm going to test with Fishwire Elementary School. So, oh, there we go. And to do this, again, you can select your school from here, or you can just click on Site Manager. So this is the section that you always want to be working on. Remember, you log in first, and then you log into Site Manager. Just an overview for those of you that are new today. We have our channels here, which are About Us, Contact Us, Parents, Students, Staff, and Programs. And each channel has a section. So for instance, Parents here, they have 4 sections. And then each section has a page. And we will do an example of that. But just so you know, you can add as many sections as you want, and then you can add pages as well too. But you cannot delete or rename or remove any of these channels, because these channels were set by default for all schools to keep consistency. So to begin, I will start by showing you how to create a new section. Just a quick overview. I'm going to name my section Test. There are many different options. However, until we are at a different, at phase 2, right now we're all beginners. So I'm just going to advise for you to choose a blank section. Then you're going to click on Save. So now I've created a section under my Parents channel here. But now this section needs some content. So I would go ahead and click on Test. Once you click on your section, it takes you to the section workspace, which is where you can add pages. So you would go ahead and click on New Page. And notice how there's available page types. You have several options here. However, for the moment being, I would just recommend that you use the ones that I will show you during this training. The first one being is Flex Page Default. So this is your basic page, and again, you give it a title. This page is just going to be used for the basic content. You would click on it again. Content, maybe a picture, maybe a link or two to a document or a newsletter. This is the one that you want to use. You can rename it, and I will show you how to do that. So I'm just going to write, this is a test. Just so that you know, being that we're already in this Flex Editor app, you can also add a picture like I mentioned earlier. To do that, and this is just for one, you don't necessarily want a slideshow, you just want 1 or 2 pictures. You would click on Insert Image. You can upload an image, existing image, shared image, clip art. So we're just going to do Browse. And now I know I have Desktop, school wires, okay. And then I'm going to just do a thumbnail size because usually they're pretty big. Again, you have different options here. Continue. Alternative text. You can resize your picture here. Alignment, I would recommend that you leave it as default because you could still arrange the order of your picture once we click on insert image. So notice that your image is here, but you could still use your center alignment, align it left, and then there's your picture. So again, you can make it as big as you want. This is just for a picture too. It's not necessarily a slideshow. Now, since we're already here, I know I mentioned that you could also add a document or a link to a URL. I'm going to show you how to add a document first. So you would click on this icon here, which is the insert file link. There's different options again, but I'm going to select upload file. We prefer PDF, so please make sure that you convert your file into a PDF. I'm going to do, so you select your file, open, continue, text, so target is optional. Then you click on insert file. And now you have a document that's linked within your same page. One more thing that I wanted to show you here is how to link to a URL. To do that, again, this is very similar to your Word menu toolbar, but this is what we need here. Insert link. You have different options. Email address. If it's a principal's page and you want her email address to be linked here, this is what you would choose. Your site, or today I'm going to choose web address. I'm going to do a test one. And again, remember in Target, there's different options. Then you would click on insert link. And now you have a URL, a document page, a picture, and some text. Again, if you want to change the size of your text, you would highlight the text, font name, fonts. Try to stick to the basic ones, Verdana. We do not like Comic Sans, so stick to Verdana. Size, it's up to you. Just something that's not too small or too big. You want to keep consistency within your school. And then you would click on save. So now and remember, you could always either view it on your browser or you could just click here on view website. This gives you kind of a preview of what you will see once everything's done. So these are some of the changes that I made. And then remember, you can always go ahead and delete them, which is what I'll do now. So to go back, this page was created under parents. So let me go look for it. So you would go to parents. And then I'm going to click on, you could either click on the page or you could just delete it from here, which is what I'll do. So I'm going to just go ahead and delete my test page. Okay, so now I deleted the page. For those of you that just joined us not so long ago, we've just gone through a review of what the channels are, how to add a section. So for instance, you click on the parents channel, these are your sections, and how to add a page within the sections. There are videos, I think I've reviewed this in all of my sessions, so feel free to view those videos online. So I know I mentioned that there's also other options for apps. And for now, I'm just going to try to use 2 until we all move on to the phase 2 of this project, which is when everybody's a little bit more advanced. But since right now we're beginners, I will show you the other app that you could choose for. Now this app, and again, to do that, we will create a section. Let's just say that your principal wants you to add a page that just has links to all of these maybe archived newsletters or just a list of documents. You don't want text, you just want a list of all of those documents. So you want people to click on it and they just get to this list instead of seeing text or the click here. So this is what you would do. And again, we're going to work under our parents channel. So I would click on New Section. I'm going to name this Test 2. You want to select Blank Section. Again, there's more options, but for now, I would just stick to Blank Section. You would click on Save. So now you've created your section, but you still need to get that app for those documents. So you click on the title of your section. Okay, which brings us here to the creating a page. So we're going to go to New Page. Now, the only other app that I would recommend for now is the File Library Page Default. Notice that it's right above the Flex Page Default. So there's two. The other one's Link Library Page. So that one's mainly for links. But if you want to have a list of documents, this is the one that you would select. File Library Page Default. Mine's going to be called Forms. Now, once I click on Forms, it's going to tell me to add a new file. So I'm going to add my file, give it a title. Select a file. Again, we prefer PDFs. And then you click on Save. I'm going to do another one. So you would click on New File. Select a file. And save. And you can add as many as you want here. Also, you can sort your files. So if I click on Sort Files, it'll let me drag and drop the order or alphabetically. You can choose that. And then you would click on Save. Also, you can just choose to have it, instead of deleting the document, let's just say that you're still working on it, you can always click on Active, and that will inactivate that test document. And then all you have to do is that. However, you need to remember that anytime that you make something inactive, when people click on that page, or not in the page, but on the section, they will get that white page that says, page has been moved or inactive. So you want to make sure that it doesn't stay inactive for too long, that it's just because you're adding more content to it. So this is how you add file library for just documents. So notice how, unlike the Flex editor, you don't have to add text, you don't have to go through that whole linking the document. This is mainly just to list a bunch of forms. How does that look? All you have to do is you click on View Website, and this is what it looks like on the other end. So this is just an option for those of you that, I've been getting questions of how do I get maybe a page with archived newsletters or just a page with all the forms. This is how you would do it. And if you want to delete it, all you have to do is you click on Parents, and then I'm just going to delete the whole section. And it usually asks you again to delete. So notice how my page is now gone. So far we've just gone through some of the basic, which are channels, sections, the two different apps that we're currently using for content or documents. Now we're going to move back to where we originally started, which is here, the Summary Subsite Workspace. You get this page here once you click on Site Manager, and in order to see Site Manager, you need to be logged in. So for those of you that are new, just remember that if you do not see Site Manager, it's most likely because you're not logged in. Then you would click on Home Page. So Home Page will have all of your apps. Now, some of these were here by default that we added for all schools. So please make sure that you do not delete our apps. It is very important that you don't delete our apps or add more. Why? Because on your new template, which I will go over some of those details towards the end of this training, they will only move over the apps that we created for you on the front page. Everything else is fine. You can add as much content as you want, but the ones that I created originally for you on the front page need to stay there. However, some of you may notice that on your section A, there is a new app called Rotating Images 960 by 470. This has new Sapphire template. Please do not delete this one here. It'll only stay there temporarily until we go live with our new template, which again, I will give you the details towards the end. But these will be the new measurements for your new template. So make sure you do not delete this one. But for now, if you want to see pictures on your front page, and I know many of you do, this would be the process that we would follow. So I'm gonna create an app here for the front page slideshow, and then I'm gonna show you the steps to uploading the photos. So it might look different on your school site only because Fishwire already did that process. But for those of you that didn't and you just have this one, just please follow along and it'll be similar. So the first thing to do is to go to Manage Apps and Layout. And then you would click on Add App, Photo Gallery App. And again, you want to name this Fishwire. You want to name it the name of your school with the correct measurements. So for this current template, and I'm just going to write test because I'm going to delete this one. For this current template, the width is 726 by 368. Then you would click on Save. These are very important that you keep in mind because with this current template that we have, if they are not this size, you will not see your pictures. And again, there's a video tutorial on that I created, but just so you know, if you do not see your pictures, it's probably because the width is wrong. So you would click on Save. And then it would take you to the next window. But for now, I'm just going to delete my test just so that you can see the part B of this process. So when you're done, you would normally click on I'm done. And now I'm going to go to the one that he already has created here in Fishwire, which yours will look just like that. This person does not have, this school does not have photos, but make sure that the gallery width is set to 726 and that this is set to JSON. And we're going to click on Save. If it's not set for 726, you will not see those pictures. You would upload photos here. Browse. You can select multiple pictures at a time. And then you can go ahead and upload. Okay, so notice how you have all of your pictures here. Once they're resized, and I'm going to do one of them just so that you know the process. Adjustment. You would select resize. So it's 726 width by height. The height, sometimes it'll just try to fix it for you. So it doesn't really have to be 368 unless you uncheck keep proportions. Then it'll respect the height and it'll do 368. Otherwise, you could just leave it as is. And then you would click on save. And then you click on save again. So once you do that for all your pictures, and then again, coming back to this step, you make sure that this is set for JSON. For some reason, if you select Flash, it breaks the template. So just make sure that this is JSON and this is 726. So as soon as you would click on Publish, you should be able to then see your slideshow, which again, I'm not going to click on Publish right now because I know this school has that message right now. So I don't want to mess up their message. But just so you know, that's how you, don't forget to click on Publish, and that's how you would see your front page slideshow. But for now, we do have this additional one, and that will change once we move to the new template. Now, moving down to section B. Many of you only have announcements, and that's pretty much what we want for now. But to end an announcement, all you do is you click on the announcement title, and then you would select on New Announcement. You give it your title, and then some text. Now with the announcement, so there is one thing. If this is your first announcement and you don't have an additional one, you want to make sure that you hit enter a few times and that your text is towards the middle. Otherwise, because of that curve on your template, it would look different. So just make sure that your message is short and simple and it's towards the middle of your page here. Then you would click on save. So when you gave it a title and you give some text to it and you click on save, your announcement should look like this. Now to see what it looks like on the actual page, all you have to do is click on view website. And again, this person has another app called Headlines, which again, we just recommend that you have one because you don't want to keep this area too busy. Because seeing many people don't scroll down. Plus, with the new template, it might look different. So just make sure that you keep the one that we created for you, which is announcements. And then here you go, just, short and simple. So that's what you would do with announcements. Now, moving back again to the home page, remember all you have to do is you click on the white cloud. So, so just so you know, okay, so these are the original apps that we created. However, you can always, all of this will transfer and you can always add additional apps, but we recommend that you do those to different sections, not on the home page, because we want to keep the home page similar in every school. So every school should have this app, upcoming events, which this is generated through your calendar, and we will review that. Welcome parents. This is an app that we created for you, which is the Flex Editor app, and I will click on it just so that you know. So see, this pretty much is the Flex Editor app. It's the same app that you use for other pages. And what you want to have here is just a short message about your school. It's just the welcome to our school and just some basic information. It doesn't have to be too long. But this is what normally that homepage welcome app would be used for. Then going back here, quick links. So quick links, these are yours. Again, this is an app that we created for you. Quick links can be personal for your own reference for your school. So, for instance, this school has Adrian Peterson visits our campus. So links that are related to your school. Now, and you can add as many as you want. The difference between quick links and I'm going to go back here again, and district links is a shared app that we created for all schools, and it'll always have updated district links that we are told that they need to be displayed on every page. So please do not remove our district links page, but you can always add links to your quick links app. Maps and directions, again, that's another one that most of you should have. If you don't, please let me know. Actually, if you don't have any of the ones that we went through today, please let me know. But maps and directions just has your basic schools information, your address. Now we're going to move back here again to the home page. And I'm going to click on calendar for those of you that are new today and do not know how to add calendar events. So remember how I told you that upcoming events app is generated by any events that you add to your calendar. You want to make sure that you keep your calendar updated and that it's populated by events, that there's some traffic here. So for instance, if you don't have time to start from the entire year, you could just start with the month of October and then November, December, just because parents are checking those calendar events. The district will not be populating events for the schools at this time, but make sure that you manually, mimic those events if you want to have them in your school. So I'm going to do one for a test event. So for a calendar event, you click on new event, then you give it a title. It'll always by default select today, so you just want to make sure that you pick the correct date. I'm just going to say the 23rd. Start time. If you have a start time, this is where it would go. If there's no end time, you check this box. If there is an end time, you would select the time here. If it's an all-day event, you just check that box. And I'm just going to pretend that mine's an all-day event. Description is optional. And also under category. So under category, we created some of these colors by default. Again, we can always add more to them. So this is just to help you categorize or to filter all of those events. So I'm just going to select staff meeting. Then I'm going to click on save. So notice how I have, and again, the color part is optional. I know just some schools prefer to have different labels. So now I have a test event, and that will be normally displayed on the front page. However, I think that there's several events here, so there's a limit to the ones that are displayed on the front page. If you want to delete it, all you do is you just click on delete, and you click on delete again. And just to show you what that would look like, we will go to that front page. And notice how it says, oh, there are no upcoming events. Okay, so it's probably because I was testing with it. But normally your events will show up here. And I think I have a school here just to show you a sample. This is where all your upcoming events will show on your front page. And again, if you need assistance or if you have any specific questions, please send me an email at the end of the training. So moving on, just to review, we went through channels, we went through sections. I showed you that new app that you could use for documents or newsletters. We went through the basic editor app, and then we went through that homepage and the expectations that are for those for the apps on the homepage. Now I know many of you have received those emails as far as content, and maybe you're asking, well, what are we looking for? In some of those audits, we were just told to pretty much check to see if there were schools that still had that message that said under construction. So pretty much that's one of the big things, that they want to make sure that all schools do not have under construction. If you want samples or ideas from other schools, let me know. But for instance, this is a school that I will consider has complete content. You also want to make sure that you keep all of your font similar, because you want to keep that consistency within your school. So to me, this is what we would consider complete. They've got information in every single one of the pages here, and as well as they have relevant parent information. PTA page, I will give out more details in the future about that, but I know that each one of you has a PTA, maybe parent, that would like to start adding content to that section. I know I personally added that page for all the schools, so right now we just need, the person that will be responsible of adding that content there. Also, I know I mentioned earlier about the new template. You will be getting, all schools will get their new template on the 24th of this month. What does that mean? It does not mean that you're going to lose everything. Everything that you have here will move on and will pass on the same. So you really won't have to do a thing other than not deleting my my gallery app, which is here, the new one that we went through here. But other than that, everything that you added, all that content will transfer the same. The Sapphire template would just look different. It will look a lot better, and it will have the colors that you currently have on your school. So whatever colors I saw and I noticed during the audits, those are the same colors that your new template will have. You will still have the ability to change the colors, but just initially I wanted some of those schools that changed the colors to have the same ones. So if you did not change your colors, you don't have to worry about that, because you will be able to change them again once we switch to the new template. And again, you won't lose your content. Everything will stay the same. So you just have to make sure that you have enough content to transfer. Also, in addition to that, I wanted to mention some of the tutorials. I know that today we went through an overview and it was pretty quick, just through the basic sections, channels. But maybe some of you want to really test with your own slideshow. So please visit my front page slideshow. I also have something for the calendar, and I have every Wednesday, again, the sessions are recorded and I upload them onto our YouTube channel. So you can always check those here. I will copy and paste the link for those of you that want to see it here. But just so you know, the videos are very detailed, and they're a lot more helpful than the How Do I tab. So if you feel like you're stuck and you go to the How Do I tab, please make sure that you visit these tutorials here before you do that. If you have specific questions, you can always contact me. Another thing, and I know I go through this in every training, if you need someone else to have access to a different section, I would need her name, email address, and again, your principal has to send me this email, or you can copy your principal, and as well as the section, because we can't have more than one sub-site director, which is usually the person who's in charge overall of the school site, but we can have as many section editors as you want us to have. So if, for instance, you want me to add, Jim to the About Us section, I would have to have his name, email address, and then the section. So that way, when Jim logs in, he does not have the same access as you do. He can only add content to About Us. That way, if something's deleted or removed, we could see who the last person was that was editing that page. So in addition to that, every Wednesday we meet here for our training sessions, and I will, as I guess I'm inspecting all the school sites, because if I see that everybody has enough content, then we would move on to new apps, because there's a lot more to learn. And I know some of you have seen this over and over again, but it's just because we're trying to get everyone on the same page. So we're trying to see that everybody has just the most basic content first before we move on to the new things that you can do with your new template. I'm going to answer some of the questions that I see here. How do you populate the inner page sidebars? So the inner page sidebars, I'm not sure if we are talking about the sections. These are sections. Again, remember, we click on new section, and when you create a new section, it takes you to where you create, for instance, this is a section where you create a new page. So I don't know if these are the sidebars that you were mentioning. Can you save the apps that you built? Yes, all the apps that you build are saved, and actually that's a very good point. To see them, for instance, I know that some of you added many apps for the photo gallery and you still didn't see your pictures published. That's because, you probably missed a step. However, if you go to Tools, and everybody should have access to this, and if you go to App Manager, the only two that you've created really are Photo Gallery. And notice how this one has 3. So one of them is probably mine, one of them is the one that I created, and one of them is his. So if you don't want one, and again, maybe I just don't want this one because this is the one that I created, you would click on it and you would click on More and Delete App. That way, you keep this clean, because you might get confused in the future if you see way too many of them. But yes, this is how all of the apps that you create are saved here. So you would just have to go in again. I'll go from scratch. So you would go to Tools, and then to App Manager, and then you would select the app that you created. So if it was a calendar app, usually this one has only one. If it was a Flex Editor app, or if it was the photo gallery. Mainly it's for the photo gallery that you want to keep track of. So that's where you would see them all. When does the template, can you fix the global CSS body line height? No, that will change again on the new template, which is on the 24th of this month. You will see the difference. It will look better. So right now we are not changing anything with the template, other than I know some of you already did colors. So I wouldn't even try to change the colors at this point, just because we're going to change them again once you move to the new template. So for that CSS right now, this is kind of how it looks, because this was just your initial template. Your new template will come on the 24th, but that doesn't mean that you have to start over at all. It just means that you're going to have a much nicer template, but all your content will be there. So you really don't have to worry about that part of the process. And then, so if you have any specific questions in regards to access, remember your login, your username should be the same one that you use to log in, because I've been getting a lot of those questions, to log into Outlook or to your settings, and your password should be the same one that you use to log into Outlook. So make sure that you have those two there. Also, sometimes, and like you saw at the beginning of this training, you might see that it gives you an error when you try to log in. Try to clear your browser's cache, or try to remove the S out of the HTTP, and that usually helps. If not, you can also try a different browser, but please make sure that you just do all of these processes before you you contact me to let me know that you're not able to log in, because 9 out of 10 times it's because there's an error. And if you try over and over with that error, you'll get blocked. And then I have to unlock your account. So just make sure that you clear your browser's cache and that you remove the S out of the HTTP, and that should take care of that problem. Also, in addition, please make sure that so I'm going to click here on settings. And I'm going to click on contact, that this is your information. Parents want to contact the person that's in charge of the website on every school. And before, there used to be a webmaster here, and we were the ones getting all the emails, and then we still had to filter them towards you. So just make sure that this is your information. Phone number, I've left the school's phone number because this part here is what displays at the footer of your district, of your website, I'm sorry. So you don't have to change this here, but you do want to make sure that it has your information. Again, how did I get here? I went to right next to the school name, settings, contact, and then your information here. So just make sure that it has that information. In regards to the new template, I will send more information about that towards the end of the week, if not next week, just with the specific details as to it's going on the 24th and everything else that you should know. But again, your content will stay the same. It's just the template itself and the colors that will change. If you have any additional questions in regards to what we reviewed today, please let me know or send me an email. But other than that, I will see you next week, and thank you for coming.